I want to welcome everyone to the third class for the theme design, Escape the City theme design, and here's the home page, so make sure that we're in the right place. I've got some really neat things to show you today. Let's just clear off the palette here. Okay, as you know, last week we had, I think it was last week that we made the change, so we went to another layout. Now in RealDraw Pro. So in RealDraw Pro, you need to have this new layout, and it's on the theme design class. Let's see, where are we? I think is it in class 3, the new layout, or was it in class 2? Okay, that's the codec. I think we changed over here. Let's see, I can't even find it. There's Faststone. I don't know, I guess I've got to upload it. I'm not sure where that went. Does anyone have a clue where that was? It in a post? Download Faststone, download it was on RealDraw Pro. That's what it is. And I need to change that, I guess. Let's just get over here and change that real fast. So go to widgets. Pages or order. Okay, let's go to posts. Make sure that everything's shown. I think they're cut off at 5. Yeah, let's just go to maximum 15. That'll solve that problem. Okay. Refresh the screen. Now we should have all of our posts down here. Okay, RealDraw Pro. RealDraw Pro, and here's the updated. So we've got the first one. So remember we've got our 3 boxes here, and then our updated, which is going to give us a gradient box. So you need to be on this last one right here. If you don't have that, you need to get over to that, because that's where we're going to be going and all this. Now, just as a disclaimer before we get going, we're under severe thunderstorm watch out here in Arizona. We're just getting pounded with storms and high winds. So I don't have these connections are not that great even when the sun's out. So if I go away, it's not because I'm trying to lose you guys. It's because we got hit by lightning, or the power got taken out on our block or something. So we'll just do it again. We'll do it until we get it right. Okay, I wanted to show you a couple of things. Here's one thing. We're going to go over exactly how I did this today. This is all using free graphics. So there's one. This is a new theme that I just created. Twitter Explosion is for a video series that I'm going to add to this membership site. So see how this just scrolls over the top, and you get the little Twitter birds here on the top. I'm going to show you exactly how I did this. We're going to get into some of the more advanced graphics today also. Now let's see if I've got, I think we'll go over feng shui also. So this is the feng shui product, and I'm going to show you, this is an example of layering, because we're going to talk about layering today. And I think that's about it. We talked about the WordPress SEO. I think you guys saw last time. So real simple layout. It goes, again, transparent screen, goes over the graphics. Real easy to do. I'm going to show you how to do these bars today and some of the more advanced things. But before we get started, any questions? Everyone okay with where we're at? Or where you're at? Having any problems with any of the graphics or the tool, RealDraw Pro? Okay. Let's get over here to our canvas. So we've opened up RealDraw Pro, and I'm going to do just some pretty neat little things with some advanced techniques here. Okay, the first thing we want to do is Let's get this canvas up a little bit. Let's just, since the screen is so big, let's make this 600 by 500. That way you can see it a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do ripped text. So we're just going to type this out here. We want simple black. Pick our color. Grab black here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've got our text out here. Everyone can see that okay. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I know that it's a big old screen, so I want to make this so you can see it. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here to our palette, and we're going to grab our brush, our paint object. So it's right over here on the side. See on the left-hand side here, and we're going to grab our paint object. So let's see, it drops out the background and it brings up brushes, the brushes palette. So we want to make sure that we're in the normal mode, and instead of the default set, which is by default, you want to come down here to Live Painters 2. Okay, we want to grab this particular stroke right there. And you want to make sure that the color, well, this is a blue, you can see right here on your color. You can make this any color you want. Let's just go with, you don't want it black. You don't want it to stand, you don't want it to fade into the black. You just want it to be a color that's you're going to be able to see. And we're just going to click and drag, just real. See how we're doing that? Just click and drag. Okay, so we've got two objects here really. So we have our text, and then we have our live paint. That's really our brush stroke. So we come back up here to our object selector, the black arrow. We want to click on our object selector. Now we want to click on the text. Make sure that in the layers our text is selected. Now you can hold down the Shift key and click on our second one. You see now we have our text is designated 1 and our brush stroke is designated 2. And we want to come down here on the bottom, and we want to do this little button right down here that says Subtract Objects. See where this is? Right down here at the bottom. And you just run your cursor over, and it should pop up and say Subtract Objects. We're going to just click on that. Boom. See how fast that happened? So now we've got our ripped text right down here at the bottom. Okay, so when we do this, let's go ahead and undo that. We didn't unselect it, so let's see if we can unselect it. No, it's done it already, so let's just go back and do it again. You cannot make any changes to the text after you do that particular change. So anything you want to do to your text, you have to do before. So if you want, for example, let's just get this down to where we can, I don't have to move things around here. Let's get over here to effects. Let's do a drop shadow and maybe a bevel on it. And let's go ahead and just move the sliders here. Let's change this to blue. And maybe change the light source a little. That still doesn't do enough. Okay, so we've got a little bit of an effect there. Okay, so we want to basically tear this at the bottom. Okay, so again, go over to our brush, click on our brush. Remember, normal, live painters 2, and then use this particular stroke here and just drag. Just drag it down. Okay, go back up to our object selector, click on our text, shift key down, grab our second one, see we designate this 1 and 2, come down here to subtract objects, do the subtract, and there it is. So it gives us this effect. I got rid of the P. I probably shouldn't have done that, but you get the idea. So it rips the text and makes a really interesting effect. Okay, so that's rip text. Any questions? Exactly how we do that? Takes a little bit of practice. You play around with it, and you'll end up getting it. Real easy to do. Questions? Nothing? Okay. Grab our text selector. Text, not pictures. Okay, now we want to do a gradient on this. Real easy to do a gradient. I showed you last week one way to do a gradient. This is actually even easier. So we've already got our color picker here. So we want our top color. Let's just say we've got a blue. Let's make this red. So just grab our top color, make that red. And we've got our bottom color here, which is blue. So we can make that blue. Now we go down here to texture, and we do a linear gradient. See how that just does the gradient across? Now, what we don't want to do, this is going from red from left to right, red to blue. Now let's say we want to go up and down. All we have to do is click on our angle right here. Now you right-click and just see how it brings up the number. We want to put in 90 degrees. See how that does that? It just switched it around. So it puts the light right at the top. You can move the light around if you want. I mean, it's just, but if you want it straight up and down, then you just right-click on it. And you want it coming from the bottom, 180, 90, 125, whatever angle you want. Now you can do your techniques on these, again, our effects. You can do your drop shadow and the bevel on it. So see how we do the gradient on that. Very easy to do the gradient, see. So and you can change these colors. Let's go to yellow, see how that looks. Not as good. You may want to do an outline. Let's go back to red. You want to do an outline on that, so you can do your outline, solid outline, and then you can change that also. So let's say maybe do an outline of yellow. Let's see how that drops that in there. Now let's pump this up a little bit. Let's make this a little bit more in-depth. So let's do a copy. Let's do a paste. Puts that right on top. Okay, so you see how that works? So that just adds a little bit more gradient to it, red to blue, and we dropped a little bit of an outline around it. Now let's just say we want to do a little ripped effect on that. Let's grab our brush. work a little bit lighter on some of that. I'd like to keep that Q in there a little bit. Okay, let's grab our object selector, grab our text, shift. So we've got 1, 2, and let's do a subtract. See how it just took out the top, made a really neat little deal down here at the bottom. A little bit of a tear kind of effect because we have two objects here. See, so one of them got torn, one of them did not. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger so we can all see it. Let's just do more. Let's just do one word. Okay, let's just do some little deal right here in the middle. All right, grab our paintbrush again. Grab here, and let's just do this. Okay, object selector, shift. We've got our 1, 2. Those have to show up. Let's do our subtract. See how that's just taken out? Just drops it right out. Now, of course, you can do, if we wanted to just do this into like one on top of the other, it makes it even, I think, better. Make this a little bit bigger. No effects. Drop shadow. Bevel. Yeah, smooth that bevel out a little bit. There we go. Now let's just do a copy. We can right-click on it, do a copy, right-click, do a paste. Puts it right on top. Now we grab our brush. Do some swiping in here. Object selector. Shift, 1, 2, and do our subtract. Look at that. See how that put that in there? See, it looks like it's just torn from the middle. See, a little scattered over here. Real deep gash here. And see how that works? You can do all kinds of things with this technique. You can make your text look just phenomenal just using this one technique of the rip text. Okay, any questions? Everyone's got that down? All right. Let's go back to our text. Now we went over buttons. I'm going to show you buttons in just a second, but let's just do shadows, or let's just do reflections. I went over reflections last week. Okay, let's go ahead and make this all one color. And let's just make it black. Just grab black here. Okay, the thing we want to do is we want to create a copy. So let's copy this. Let's paste it. Let's pull it down. And then we're going to flip the, where's my flip on here? There we go, flip. And we're going to flip it vertical. Okay, there's the flip. Now, for reflection, there's all kinds of things you can do. Let's line this up with our arrow key. Let's compress it a little bit. Let's move it away so it has a little bit of space. That looks pretty good right there. Okay, so on this, we can easily do, I showed you on the area gradient. So we're going to do a gradient. We've got two little fixes in here. So we can take this out. Grab our buttons back. I have to pull this way out. Yeah, that kind of does it a little bit. Now we can change this using transparency. So we want to slide the transparency over. Okay. Let's move this in a little bit here. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to blur this a little bit. So we can just choose, go down to our bevel and just choose one of our blurs down here. That's maybe a little bit too much. Let's bring it back. And of course it changes it so you've got to line it back up again. Okay, there's a kind of reasonable facsimile of a reflection. It's a little bit more of a blue. Now we can change that, of course, by changing our secondary color. So we're more of a gray now. But again, you can choose to make this any way you want it. Radial, burst, linear, or flat. Of course, on this, maybe a little bit. And then you can just use the slider. Slide this back. So one side is a little less intense than the other. You gotta, if you lose that, you got to click here, obviously. Get it back. So there's a blue reflection. It's a little bit blurred, and that's usually how reflections are. You know, you want to give them a little bit of a reflection here. Now, one other thing we could do is we could put this maybe a little bit of shine on it. So let's grab our light. I didn't show you this last time, but we can choose lights. Where did our lights go? Okay, there we go. We've got to move some things around. Okay, you want to choose, so we have our selection of 3D lights. We want to choose our top light, and it will put a ring out here. How we move this is you can move this around. See how this changes it into more of a reflection. You can also make this larger. Maybe want to get rid of that bevel. Let's see if that. Now because of this, see, we've changed this, so the lights. Let's move this in a little bit. Let's grab our layer here because we pulled it out if you recall. So we want to make sure that, let's just get rid of the light. See how we moved it a minute ago, so now we have to, of course you could just make another copy. It'd probably be easier than going through all that. So you just copy this, do a paste, move it down, flip it, it to where it looks like it's reflective. Maybe take a little bit of this out of it. And then we can choose our light. So it's strictly up to however you want to do it. You got to play around with these tools, but now you know how to do them. So see how that really, it puts a light right down here in the middle. So we can actually put a number of lights on this if we want. See, the closer you move this, the lighter it gets. So here's one. Let's just drop another one over here. Pull this out a little bit. And I think I want to just give that a little bit of a blur. I may have to do that before the lights. I think this is what we did before, and let's just see if this, yeah, it dropped it down a little bit. And then, of course, you can choose your lights, move your lights around for reflections or whatever you want to do. But see how that just, it really makes that, I mean, it blurs it out and it drops it down. So, you know, you can do whatever you want. So you got reflection, you can actually pull this out, you know, get rid of this. Maybe make this a little bit bigger and drop in your light. Too much of a bevel on that, I think. Well, let's do this. Boy, that really changed it, didn't it? See, this is not an exact science, so you can literally play with this all day long when you get into this program. So I'm showing you just, of course, these are advanced techniques. So okay, let's pull this in a little bit. Yeah, let's not put so much of a light on it. Now, let's get rid of that. Put the big light on it. Okay, so it gives it a little bit more of a depth to it, but you can, you know, play around with these all you want. So, you know, tons and tons of things that you can do. Okay, not too bad. Pretty happy with that. You can do the reflections work best on a light or a semi-dark background. When you get too dark in your background, you're going to have problems with it. Okay, let's get to let's just get rid of this. Let's just go to new project. Let's go 600 by, oh, I know what I want to do. Let's just grab this for a header. I want to show you a technique I used on a header here recently. Let's see, where is that header? Let's just do 8-ball. That's a good header. Okay, got this off of a that's a little big. Got this off of a WordPress theme, free theme, so the graphics are perfectly fine to use. Let's just go ahead and trim canvas. Okay, on this particular effect, what we did, I used a global NPR. Remember we talked about this last week? And I went down here to tons of water. So we want to grab this, go tons of water, apply the selection. Maybe it wasn't tons of water. There we go. Okay, steel dot. So see what this did? Let's just go back, do an undo. So you've got the whole graphic here. You can do any of these selections, and of course steel dots seems to work the best right now. But see how it just takes and it completely changes that look of that header? Now you can take your text over here and drop your text in. I got rid of the box. So you can drop your text in and make it, just look as funky as you want. So we don't want this effect on the text. We can just apply to selection, which is this guy. And go back here to none. So see, it gets rid of it on the text. We can, let's just change this color before we get down in the bottom. Let's make this a little, see how that goes, see if that works. Not too much. Kind of blends in. Let's grab that orange. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, so we want this to stand out. So let's go with Effects, Drop Shadow, Bevel, and slide this over a little bit. And let's just do copy, paste, give it a little more depth. So see, that goes very nicely with this background. So you can change this significantly just by applying one of these global NPR. Let's try none. So we're back here. So we've got our regular setup. Now you can do just anything you want. So there's an illustration book. So we've got text goes here, and then that just completely changes that header. Just at a click of a button. So illustration 2. Now remember, we want to just apply locally. So we don't want to do this to the text also, or it'll all blend together. We want our text to stand out off of this page. So we want to apply to that text. Ink, sketch, apply selection. That didn't do anything. Some of this does not do anything to change this, as you've seen. You just got to play around with it. Real watercolor. Real paint. Watercolor didn't work. Engraving works, so see how that changed it. That's pretty neat looking. So, you've got your header. Now, how I used this was, let's see, was it arthritis? That's what I did. I did an arthritis. See, what I did was I took the top header and I changed it, and then I just dropped the headline in up here and made it the same color as this inflamed joint looks over here. So this was just a graphic I pulled off of an arthritis site that was open source, and then I just applied the graphic to it just exactly the way using Global NPR, and see how that changed that. And then, of course, I set up an artist there, the colors that would work with that. Transparency, you can see through to the back of the background. Okay, any questions? Pretty straightforward. Nothing, too out there. This program is just so powerful. With just one or two clicks, you can do just so many things with it. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Okay, now on this particular, let's go back here to see if we can back up using, no, can't do undo, got to go grab it again. So let's look at WordPress SEO, just the header itself. Okay, so what I did here was I just created let's just create a new object. I like my widths to be about 800, 850, something like that, and the height to be right around 200, maybe 150. This may be a little. That looks okay. Now for this particular thing, we're just gonna type out WordPress. So all we're going to do is grab the text tool. Text tool, not images. And we're going to go to impact. Make it fairly big. Well, here we go. Just lost the box again. Do that occasionally. Type out WordPress. And then we can just make this whatever color that we want. And for this particular instance, let's just grab this color here. So let's just use, let's actually use our screen capture. Just grab this, just a portion of that. That's all we have to do. And I just want to copy it. And I'm going to drop it in over here as a paste. And I'm just going to grab that color. I think that's pretty good size. Do a color pick. So there's our color we've matched here. And let's go ahead and put a drop shadow on it. And let's bevel it. So see, that looks pretty much the same, a little bit darker. Well, I'll show you exactly how to do that. Now we want SEO. So I'm just going to grab text tool again. And I don't know if I did this in impact. But let's just go SE. I want to make this a little bit bigger. Let's see what this looks like in another font. Huttenschweiler. Let's try this. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. And we want to make this kind of a white, off-white. Drop shadow. And bevel it. I want to make this a little bit bigger so it stands out. Okay, let's just do a copy and let's do a paste. So see how that it gets a little bit more depth to it. And let's do the same over here. Do it just a copy and do a paste. Adds a little more depth to it. So WordPress SE, and we're going to use the globe or the WordPress image for the O. So we just go out here and find our WordPress image. And it's a little bit big, so we're going to drop this down. Now, because it's white on white, we want to drop out this white, so we're going to grab our color transparency tool, click on the white. See, that will completely drop out that white. Now we want to get it down to a size that is reasonable. We may need a little bit more room here. Okay, so let's go 900. Okay, gives us enough room. Still may be a little bit too big for the, want to kind of make it so that it looks halfway decent. And maybe move this over a little bit. Let's do didn't group that. So let's get rid of this guy. Do a copy, do a paste, grab that, and then we can move it. So just click on the object and just move it over, and everything comes with it. I don't think that this is going to add anything if we do a copy on this, but let's just see if we can do a copy and paste. Nope. So when I undo, I don't think that is. See, it doesn't add any depth to it. So let's make this a little bit bigger. And bring that in. Okay, so copy, paste. Adds a little more depth. Now we want to put a bar under here. So we just go over to our rectangle tool and draw out a simple rectangle. And let's make it something along this color. And let's drop a shadow on it. Let's bevel it. And let's send it to the back. See how it drops under the P there? Let's move this up just a bit. And then we go down here to our special effects. Let's just see. Let's try this. Okay, there's an effect right there. That's pretty neat looking. See how that just drops the edges in just by clicking one button. And of course you can, let's make this a little thinner. I think that's it for my bevels. Let's look under global and see what. So see that turns it into illustration book. Let's do this. See what it looks like. No, I don't like that. Oily crayons. Nope. You know, maybe those steel dots will work really well on this. That's different. So let's put a sun shadow on it or a glow. Right, we got no glow, not so much. Now that's just not working. Working for anyone else? Not working for me. Let's see what that smooth bevel looks like again. Okay, so what we're going to do here, the technique that I just showed you. Let's see what this looks like with a little bit different white on here. Now it fades into the background too much. Too dark. Okay, so we're going to grab the brush tool, and I'm actually going to, I think this is a copy. No, it's not copied. So let's copy it. Let's paste it. Let's get rid of this. Let's grab our brush tool. Okay, remember we've got to grab our object selector. Shift. Well, there's our one object. I think our objects may be too big here. So let's get to our rectangle. There we go. Shift. 1, 2. Grab our subtract. Oh, we could have skipped across there. Look at that. We've got the tears in there. That looks really cool, I think. We could use a little bit more over here, I think. Yeah? Anyone agree with me? So let's hit that a little bit harder. Copy, paste, brush tool. Now let's really so you hold down the button and really drag it hard. That makes it, put a little bit more color on it. Okay, object selector, shift, grab this guy, and let's do our subtract. Wow, look at that. That looks really neat. Look at that, just that one little tool. You just take one selection, copy it, and then just come in here and just subtract it. Everyone see that? Everyone like that? That looks pretty cool, I think. Am I alone in that? Let's move this over a little bit, kind of getting off the track. Move this over. Move this over. And then we want to just grab this and move this over. I think, well, let's move it back. I like this. Kind of off center, and let's send it to the back. Let's see, that drops underneath the P here. All right, anyone like that? Doesn't like that? Does that look a little bit better? No comment? Is everyone awake? Okay, so WordPress SEO. I really like that header. So let's just do this. Export it. WordPress. And let's come over here and see if we can make this look. Actually, that kind of looks the same, but let's just take a look and stick in that let's just do a new one. What the heck? From file, let's go grab that header. Let's make this a background image. I think that's what we did on the other one. So we want to grab that torn, do top center, and then our layout, we're just going to make it a simple sheet. We're going to take our sheet and we're going to top offset at least 100. More than that. Let's take it down to 2 and see what happens. Might need to bring that up a little bit. Okay, so I think that looks pretty doggone good. So let's do our background. We want to make sure that this color is exactly the same. I use the Pixie because sometimes it's not. It is FFF this time. Okay, so sometimes it's a little bit off. So we want to make sure that it's exactly the same color. But in this instance, if we just grab this and run it all the way up, you see that the hex is FFFF. Okay, so it's the same. It blends right in. Now we want this to be a little bit more transparent on the sheet. So what we can do is we can choose a color layout that's a little bit more say simple. I like the blues. We want to stay with the blue and the gray. So let's pick something that's along the same lines. We may have to tweak it a little bit after we, get there. I don't like that sand dune too much for this particular. So that's pretty dramatic, but I like the blues on that. And we can change the background. Let's take a look at this one. Blues are not as good, I don't think. Okay, so we want to change our background color again to white. And then our sheet has to be transparent, so we want 100% transparency. This may not work for this. We may need to go to a lighter without having to do it. I don't want to do a whole lot of work on this to get the, get the color scheme. That probably is going to be the least amount. And then we can just change these buttons. Okay, so let's get over here to the background, do a fill, pure white, and let's get rid of the date, author, edit, category, tags, and comments. border width on the table, no border. Same thing with the picture. Now on the bullets, now what the bullets will do is they change this list down here. So I'm just going to put a check mark down here. So the picture is going to be a check mark. See how that just changed to a check mark, and it's pretty small in here. So I'm going to take these and move these up to size 14. So see, that moved that up a little bit better. You can do the same thing on quotes. You can change the quotes if you don't like them, colors, icons. Original quotes look okay. Now on this, we can get rid of this altogether. So on the blocks, we can go with the fill, because it is a blue. We can just go with pure white. See how that goes? Completely drops that out. Now we can change the border also to no border, and that'll just make it drop out. So now we just have it floating there, and then of course if we want to change these to this color up here, very easy to do. Just use our pixie, grab that color, and let's use let's see, where is that? I think it's header. Let's just, I think this is it, header. Yeah, so let's go more colors. Drop this in here. That changes it to that color, and let's just change that to a gradient. Let's make this a little bit of a glare on it. See how this changes it? So it looks like there's a little glare out here on these, and so it kind of follows down through this also. And we want to make sure to fix our background instead of scroll it. Okay, so that just rolls over. Want to change our footer also. Let's go with a gradient and all that. I use special usually. And let's change that fill to the same color as this. More colors. Drop it in. It changes it. Well, actually, that changed it too much. So let's grab this color here. Go back to the footer, change the fill, because I think that color just doesn't fit. There, that's a little bit more subdued. Or you can just make it transparent. 100% transparency, footer goes away altogether. Now you just got it white floating out there. You've got your RSS feed. Actually, that looks pretty good, I think. So see, you've got your WordPress, you've got the little bar underneath it. Could have made this bar a little bit bigger, I guess. And see all the tears on that? SEO. Maybe want to change this search here for blocks. Let's just see this. I think, where the heck is that? Under, I think it's under menu. Not sure. Sub-item menu styling. I don't change these very often, so I'm just. Is it under blocks or articles? Anyone know where that is? Maybe it's under articles. This search function here. It's under buttons. Okay, buttons. Caldoon says. And okay, so the button is going to be, let's just pass it over. Very good. Excellent. Okay, for this, again, I'm just going to grab this color and do the fill color under the button, which is going to be, you're going to have your hover. This is going to be a little bit different. I didn't even paste. Control V. Nope. Let's do this. Control C. Okay, that blends in very nicely there. You can see it changes to a blue when you roll over. So you hover over it, it changes to a different color, and of course you can do that, I think, with this color. So you hover over, you can change here for your hovers. But that works okay. So that's transparent page. Now if you want to make it less transparent, maybe go with a 90% or something like that and put a glow around it. You can start to see where it just comes in, just a hint of it as you roll your cursor up, see? So you just have a little bit of a hint of the page there. So what we can do is we can go with maybe a glow and see if that maybe sets it off a little bit more. Because we're so transparent, it may not have hardly any effect. It doesn't really. That shadow doesn't look too bad. But see, there's just a hint of a page if that's what you want. You could, of course, move that up. I like the 100% transparency because it looks just like it's floating out there by itself. We could probably top offset this, come down maybe to 180 or something like that, 175. See what that looks like. It'll move it up a little bit more. Let's go up to 150, see what it looks like. Too close. There we go. Very good. So now we've got, see, that hover. We've got some, well, we want to bring up these fonts, I think, a little bit more. And let's change the set. Let's go with something that's has a little bit more impact. Of course, that is rounded at the top. That is impact. So let's send it for Dana and Tahoma. And let's come up a little bit. We probably should be at about 110, 120. Yeah, that looks good. Not too big, not too small. It's Goldilocks page, just right. This W button here may be a little bit too small. I may want to change that, bring that up a little bit, but I think that looks pretty good. WordPress, the bar underneath it, and then the SEO, and we just save that. I don't know how many of these I have. Let's just go torn. Okay, everyone get that? Questions? Easy, not so easy? Everyone understood it? So we created the header and built out the theme using WordPress and just made the whole background white, and then just created a transparent page that will just float over the over the background. So it's not a header. We're putting the WordPress SEO as a background, not a header. So there is no header on here. It's just a clean sheet. This works really good for sales pages also. All you have to do on the layout, just get rid of the columns. One column, and there's your sales page. I don't think I'd want to make that 900. I'd maybe make it 750, 800 for a sales page, make it a little thinner. But, you know, that's personal preference. Come back to one column. Questions, concerns, comments? Everyone's on the same page? Should be the WordPress SEO page. Everyone get that? Anyone not get that? All right, we're all on the same page, I guess. Okay, very good. Now let's go back over here. Okay, so we've gone over reflections. Oh, the buttons. I forgot to do the buttons. Okay, I'm going to show you while we're here. Create a Pay Now button. Very easy to do. We just start off with the regular project canvas. 400 by 300 just works fine. Well, let's just go to our rectangle tool. Well, actually, let's do this. Let's just put in some text first. So let's use impact. This makes it a little bit easier. Okay, do buy now. And we have to change this in just a second, but that's probably pretty decent. Okay, rectangle tool, and we're going to go to the rounded rectangle, rounded corners. Okay, see, on the corners here, you have a chance to do more or less. You can do a slider. You can also right-click and just change it by just putting in a number. So we're going to drop that on top of it. We're going to send it to the back. That button's a little bit big. Okay, let's make this blue. And let's make the text white. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, real simple button. Now, if you want to change this, all we have to do is do different types of bevels. And I showed you last week that this is a real easy buy now button. It's already got some pretty decent looking button around. It's got the shadows, and of course you can, in fact, you can make this even yellow. That even stand out more. So if you grabbed, you know, yellow, see how that just jumps off the page. Of course, then you come over here, grab a shadow and a bevel. Okay, so let's just do a copy and a paste, give it a little more depth. Very simple button. Let's just center this up. Okay, there's a very simple button. Now, we're going to get a little more sophisticated and do some other things with this. We can certainly do that. And how we do that is, let's just get rid of this bevel. Let's get rid of one of these. Okay, let's just grab, we come down to our bevel tool and we can grab one of these bevels down here. Let's just do the little one. That's a nice little bevel on this, so we want to maybe back that off just a little bit. Okay, let's give this an outline, a solid outline, and let's make it white. Okay, so let's move this out of the way here. Okay, let's just put a reflection right here at the top. Real easy to do. All we have to do is come back over here to our rounded button again. Draw this in here. And let's give it a bevel. And let's put a bevel on our button. Yeah, this is too big. I'll bring this down a little bit. Wrong bevel. Want to grab see how that looks. Not too good. I think there's just too much of a bevel on this. There. That's a little bit better. Let's see what this looks like if we drop it right in there. This is where playing around with this program comes into effect. Sometimes this stuff works, and sometimes it doesn't. You just have to start over, but you get the idea. And I'm going to go with a little bit less transparency on that. It's probably enough to just see just a hint of a little shine here. Now, we can use the lights. Oh, we have to select this. Let's use the lights here. And let's just come off over here. Bring that down a little bit. So we've got a light hitting this, and we want to maybe put one down at the bottom. So let's come over here and put an opposite light. See how that puts it right on this dark shadow? You can just move that anywhere around here. Yeah, let's just get rid of this thing. It's not working. So go over here to our layers. We've added our lights, so we've got to this is where you got to start adding your lights kind of at the end, because you just can't keep putting layers on top of this. So let me show you how to solve that if you get too many layers going on. So right now we have 2 layers, and we're going to add another one just with, I'm going to copy and paste. It adds another layer here. So that's 3 layers. After about 3 or 4 layers with Real Draw Pro, you got to package them together. So you could do object, package, create package, and that'll put all these images together. Now it's basically combined into one. Now you can add your other your other lights and things that you want to do. But if you have so many layers, like if you get just tons and tons of layers, that's a little bit nicer reflection on that. See how that just changed the yellow? And then take one, put it down here opposite. So see, we put a light down here. We've got a little bit of a bevel going on, and of course, then you can save that as, you know, bitmap object. Not the greatest button in the world, but you know, you get the idea. Real fast down and dirty button, just a rectangle. Object, blue, whatever color you want. Text. You can create anything you want with this. And then all you have to do is just hit, oop, wrong one, sorry. Or, that's a nice looking little button. And yellow would go with that. And let's just drop a shadow on it. Smooth bevel. Copy, paste. Real simple button. There you go. So, you know, you can just do anything you want with these. It's even more. See, now you got your highlighted light up here that I was trying to accomplish. I just did this right here by just hitting this particular object. Look at that, just by hitting the illustration book, how we change this whole button. Change it again. So it looks like it was drawn. So oily crayons. Now, if you don't want your letters to get affected by that, just grab them, group them, move them out. Apply to selection. Well, we might as well just group those. We're going to be doing go up here to Object, Group, group them. That puts them together. Let's change this. Apply to selection. Drop this back down on it. Looky there. So it looks like the button was drawn. Let's take a look and see what that would look like if we, I think that doesn't work for the yellow. Real. See what that looks like. That's pretty neat looking. Well, see, you just change your buttons around. I mean, you just by going to your global NPR down here and just clicking a button. And so it really changes your background and changes your buttons. So just, you can do this with headers. You can do it with your pages. You can do it with anything. So, you know, that it's completely up to you however you want to do this. Now, last week, you know, Danny helped me out with a header, but I wanted to show you this again. Just want to go over it. Let's make a 800 by 150. Now we want to put a couple of gradients, one on each side. Okay, so let's just grab our rectangle tool over here. And let's just make this like a black. And that's not doing a thing for a gradient. I've never seen it do that now. There may be a bug in the program. We did it last week. Worked out fine. Oh, I think I don't have the right color selected. Yeah, that did it. Okie dokie. Now I can't get it to even do a gradient, so let's do this. Why is that not doing this? Linear gradient, and it's not doing anything. It's not changing that at all. Okay, I'm willing to won't even change the color. It'll do that on transparency, but it won't do it over here on the colors. Okay, so let's do this. Do a linear gradient. I think there's the square. Yeah. Okay, then I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to do a paste. And then hopefully I'm going to move it, so that's not going to work. Just do another one. And as Danny showed us last week on these gradients, all you have to do is just go negative on it, and it switches it around. So there's a fade from left to right. And you could even merge these in to where the white almost just disappears. It just turns into a gray. Any color you want doing this. So you see this a lot. You see the gradients. Real easy to do with this. Again, the negative tool. See how that turns that around. Okay. That's what happened. I had two layers on there, so I multi-layered it. All right, let's close down some of this. Some of these windows closed. So we covered buttons, reflections, a header, rip text. There's our reflection. And different types of headers in here with different type of images. We covered all that. Okay, so let's get into the one that we started off with. I showed you an example of that, which is the Twitter explosion. This is, I do want to save this, so let's just do a save before we go over there. All right, so on this guy, this is a little bit more complex image. So what I did was, let's go over here to RealDraw Pro. So we have to grab that colorful black background. So what I did was go out here to, I think I put it in my backgrounds. And here's the background right there. Okay. So let's go over this. I just want to grab the flower and create that background. I did save it, so I'm trying to find that. The problem is I've got so many things going on. I get lost sometimes in where the heck these backgrounds are, where I put them. So this is a Real Draw Pro. There's the WordPress background. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to go out here and find the Real Draw Pro and take one apart. Not a big deal. That's why you save your work. So this is let's go to images here so we can see what the heck we're dealing with. Okay, this is secure blogging. That's not it. SEO, wow, header. See, the problem is I don't have this set up correctly. Or I'd be able to see it. The new computer, and I don't have the program set up. So that's WordPress. Apologize for that. That's what happened. There's too many things to go through. Let's see, WordPress. That's WordPress. Wow, header used, weight loss, Pilates, secure blogging. What the heck did I do with that header? Is that the blog theme store? I think we just went to backgrounds and that wasn't it. This is what happens when you get about 400 gigs worth of stuff and you just leave it all over the place. What the heck, where did I put that header? That's eBay header. I thought I saved it on this computer. I may not have, which is not going to be good with oh, there it is right there. WordPress SEO. Okay, found it. Okay, so we're going to take out these elements. All right. Now what I did was I did a simple search on Twitter birds royalty free. And we're at Yahoo. I don't want Yahoo. So one of the, this is the one, in fact. So here's free icons. So you can grab these. See, here's the free Twitter bird icon set. So you can do the same thing with anything you're looking for. You just do whatever you're looking for and then free or royalty free. And there's people that do these graphics and you don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops. You can just go out and grab them. So I just grabbed a bunch of graphics here. And so what I did was grab these birds and I placed them like here's, an object. So I just place these birds around in various spots. I just happen to save this one. I'm not going to bring that in. I just got to go find the birds. Oh, I dropped it in already. Well, we don't want those. I just want to show you what the individual birds and I'm pretty sure I saved those under Twitter. Twitter icons. Yep. These were PNGs, and I just grabbed the 512. So I grabbed this guy, and this one you just have to guess, because I want to put them right up in here. So you have to kind of make them. I think about that size should work. And we go grab another one. So I want this guy. And we're going to put him down here in the corner. So I want to make it a little bit smaller, I think. You know, we need to get this down to where we can see it. So let's just zoom out a little bit here. Somewhere in there, I think. This guy's still a little bit too big, I think. And drop that right there, and then we want one more for this right-hand corner. And I picked this guy. And I think somewhere in there. Now I wanted to put in Twitter explosions, so all we're going to do is I'm just going to use this right up in here, and we just drop in our text. Impact. And I think I made this blue, so we don't want to get this too big. Down here where we can grab it. I don't know why this band's so stubborn. Make it the same color as the birds. Okay, that fits very nicely right there. And all we're going to do is just do a copy, paste, move this down a little bit, and change the font too big. And of course we want explosion or whatever you're using. And I want this to be a little bit more of an orange color. I think I grabbed this hat on the original one. So if we can grab both of these, because I want to group them together, and now I'm going to drop shadow and bevel both of them the same. So we group them so we can do the same exact thing to both, so they both get the same sort of effect. Okay, that's a really nice effect. So we want to, let's just copy, paste. We could do this if we grouped them. Makes it a little bit stand out a little bit better. Okay, so let's just move this up just a little bit. Explosion, we move down. So we're kind of off. The top one is off the second one a little bit, gives it a little bit more depth. Okay, so this guy's still a little bit big. Let's see, I'm putting him right on the edge because I'm going to drop my original, I'm going to drop my my WordPress right on top of this white. So we got it, we're just kind of eyeballing this. So we want to save this. Okay, that looks good. Twitter explosion looks good. So let's export that. And let's just call this Twitter explosion background. Get back over here to Artist here. We're going to create a new object. So that's the original. And let's go ahead and just bring in the background. So we grab our background that we just created. I think it was in backgrounds, Twitter explosion, yeah. We're going to center it. And let's go ahead and get rid of the, just put it in a simple sheet. Let's do top offset of 200 just to move it down a little bit. We're still a little bit big, so we want it for our sheet. We want to go somewhere less than 900. Too small, so let's go to 850. That may be, see, we're way over here on the left, and so we're a little off center here. The problem with the backgrounds is you can't, you're going to have to change it. You're going to have to change it here. So this is how you do that. I mean, we're kind of just messing around with it now. So let's just see what the original size is. We're at 1390, and we're way over on the right. So we want to bring this in a little bit. So let's just call it, let's just go 1200. 853 is, I think, okay. So let's, boy, we lost a lot there. Let's just do an undo. Okay, now we have to find our objects. There's our text. It's our bitmap for the bird. Got our background object, but see, that's just not working. This is what happens when you screw it up. So we all make mistakes. I don't think that was salvageable. So see, that's 1390. Oh, that's what it was. We didn't come in at the right size when I brought it in initially. That's what the problem was. Okay, let's trim the canvas. Let's zoom out so we can get a little bit more real estate to work with here. Let's just grab these and delete them. Now this is not the, this is the JPEG. So we need to open the RDW file. I think this is it. And it's since it's already open, all right, we want to make sure that this is big. So 1390, okay. Actually, what we can do here is just go Twitter. Let's get rid of this one, get rid of this one. Let's get rid of that. Bring this back up. Turn this into explosion. Bring that over here. This doesn't look like impact. It's not impact. Okay, change that around to impact. And this is impact, so I switched those out. So we're going to change them back. And then drop our birds in again. So this guy, we could actually change this here. So this is 512. Let's drop this down a little bit. About 373. Still too big. It's not an exact science. You just got to play around with them. Danny loves this stuff. She would have a field day playing around with these things. Okay, follow me. It's probably about the right size. Let's get him right in here. That doesn't look bad. And then our last one. Still too big, but I guess I dropped a white on that. It was another white. I think I'm probably going to leave that. I don't know why I had that in there, but it doesn't really need it. That's just another rectangle that gets in the way. He needs to be a little bit bigger. Okay, now let's drop him back. Let's push him back a little bit and bring him forward. The explosion goes across his face. I don't like that. So let's bring him right out here. So that's good. I think that looks decent. All right, let's see what this looks like. Drag it around. It looks okay. That guy looks like he's positioned okay. Yeah. So let's go call this where's my backgrounds? Let's call it 2 and go back to the background, do a insert, top center, still over to the right a little bit. We may just have to not have time to mess around with that right now. Take with no transparency, and let's do the fill color all the way out to white. Okay, so the follow me, this little guy needs to come out just a little bit, I think, with this setup the way this is. I like the colors the way they are. I think we're okay. We're going to move this up so it looks like he's peering right over the edge of this. I'm going to turn this into a white for the sheet. So I guess that's as white as it gets. That looks okay. The yellows, I think, go with the theme. I want to be able to see that follow me, though. So we may have to just work him out just a little bit and do a export. Let's call it the same thing. Replace the image. Come back over to Artist here and drop that background in. He should move right over to the edge. Top center. So we get enough of him to see the follow me. I don't want to make that transparent because we'll see that big white block back here. Now I'm going to move this up just a little bit here for the sheet, for the top offset. We want to be able to see, because I want him to be able to just put his little feathers right over the edge of this. So let's move this back a little bit, see where that goes. Let's move it down. We want to go further out, not closer in. So 189. That's good. See if we can come up with a little bit better colors. Let's see sunflower, see what that looks like. I like that color scheme a little bit better. Go back to the sheet. We want to make sure the fill color on the sheet is 100% FFFF. We want it to blend with the background. Okay, background, fill color. Here's the deal. Now see, when I did this first, I don't know if you can see it, but there is a line. That's what I was talking about. See, that the background here is not exactly white. So this is we use Pixie. So we just run our cursor right here on the edge of this background. You see that down here under hex, it doesn't say FFFF. So we're just a little bit off on our white. So what we have to do is we just got to copy that, do our fill, drop that color in here. See, it's an F8. And see that line around here just completely disappears. And so now it blends into the background perfectly. Now we want to, of course, get rid of all of the blocks. Date, author, edit category, tags, display. We didn't add the double on here, so we just copy, paste, gives a little more depth, copy, paste. Yeah, that makes it look better. Do the export, call it the same thing, replace it, drop the background in, top center, nothing changes. Oh, we got him, we got the little bird messed up. So I want to bring him forward. Save it again. Replace the image. Import. Top center. There, now he's in front of that. Okay, I think that looks okay. Now remember, we want to stick the background by fixing it, not scrolling it. And that should give us a scroll now. Very nice. All right, footer. Want to change the footer. And let's go with a gradient on that. And let's do just a simple texture to make that. Let's go more with a paper. Let's get down here to paper-like. There we go. Makes that, we want to also, on the sheet, we want to take the padding with no padding, so that takes it right out to the edge. So see, our footer is right out to the edge. Of course, you could drop that footer out if you want, but I think that looks okay. So we've got our little Twitter guys. I see he's kind of hanging over the edge here. It looks like he's just placed right over that little brown. So you put it right here, moved him right over to where he's just right over the top of that. See how that works here? I mean, it looks like it just fits right in. The follow me Twitter birds on the left, and then we've got our guy running here. So he's in front of the explosion, but behind the page is going to scroll over him. That's how we did that. It's a little bit more complex imagery, but you can see how this background just fits right with the. I used, all of these flowers and stuff as more of an explosion. So, you got all the colors, and they fit perfectly with these birds with the yellows and the blues. So I think that that background works really well. Now that's a premium background for WordPress. Nobody else out there is doing these techniques right now. So if you create sites with these techniques, do a few sales, you will not have any problems at all selling these. If that's what you're, that's where you're focused. You want to sell these, you want to flip them. Okay, guys. Any questions, concerns, comments? We only have about 4 minutes left, so I think I'll just unkey. I'll unkey you. Unless I get a reverb. Danny's saying, there's only 4 of you here. Diane, Danny, Jeff, and Caldoon. Anyone have any questions about that? Did we cover enough for you today?
Oh yeah, it's not difficult really.
It's not difficult. It's just It's just a technique. It's learning what the techniques are.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. I mean, once you know how to do it, it's clear.
I'm gonna mute everybody but you, Khaldun, because I'm getting that reverb back. Okay, go ahead.
No, really, Guy, you know, okay, without you telling me and showing me how I can do things, I mean, I wouldn't have known that this is possible to do, especially with this Real Draw program. It's really a very powerful program, the way I see things being done in it. So it's big benefit.
Well, I think it's just as powerful as Photoshop. The nice thing, what I really like about it, is the fact that it's easy to use. With Photoshop, I mean, Photoshop is a very powerful program, and it was built for graphic artists. I didn't want to go there, and you know, the thing about this is it can do so many things with just a click of a button. That's what's great about it. Just click a button, and you get, you know, some pretty intense effects. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, with Photoshop, even trying to get a bevel around some sort of text, I can imagine it takes quite a lot of work to be done to achieve the same result with one click on this program.
Yeah, I really like this, and you know, I found this. Good grief, it's been over a year now, I guess. I've been using. I taught a little bit last year on this, but I didn't go into this kind of depth. For one thing, Artisteer wasn't where it is now, so it's a little bit harder to do. And of course, the more I worked with the program, the more I've learned also. But good grief, with this program, you can turn out professional level graphics very easily, and it's basically just, you know, click a button. You just click a button and it's done. The bevels are easy. The drop shadows are easy. They're just click a button.
Yeah, I have to agree here. I mean, you know, I do have Photoshop on my computer, and sometimes I want to do something with if I have a PSD file. Sometimes I notice even that the white is not exactly white in Photoshop for some reason with some of the PSDs. So I'm looking at it, it doesn't look white to me, but I know it's white, so I have to, in my mind, say, okay, I'm dealing with white here, so, you know, I'm not sure why this is happening really. But anyway, I don't really use it that much. I'd rather use Real Draw Pro. It's much easier to learn and much easier to implement.
Absolutely, and you can save it. You can save it as a PNG. You can't save it as PSD. Obviously, that's a proprietary format with Photoshop. What I like with Photoshop, I have CS3 also, which was released a couple of years ago, I guess. But you can take PLR and you can strip out the stuff that somebody's put together with Photoshop. You can strip out the graphics and then bring them into Real Draw Pro and use them here, because basically it's a PLR product. So they paid for the graphics. Why go buy them again? Just strip them out.
Absolutely. Just take out the elements that you don't need and keep the ones that you need.
Exactly.
Save it and bring it in here, and away you go.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Okay. Anyone else have? I'll unkey everybody again. I just did it because of the reverb I was getting. Let's got to go find everyone. Thanks, Khaldun. Forgot to say that. Yeah, Danny says it's comparable to Photoshop. I think it is very comparable. And you know, you're talking Photoshop at the time I think was a few $100s, and Real Draw Pro is $55. Not even a comparison for price. Jeff wants to know if I demonstrated how to make the background. You're talking about the background that is your microphone working, or you had a problem with this? I'll unkey you. You don't sound like you're coming in. So you're talking about the background I just did, this Twitter background, Jeff? Is that what you're talking about? What do you mean did I do it before? Like last week? No, this is, I did this background this week, so this is just something that I threw in extra because I'm completing this site and I wanted to show you exactly how I put it together. So again, I just used a flowery background, which was off a free WordPress theme that I pulled down off of a free WordPress site. I just grabbed, you can tell that it's made for another theme. It has the white in here was where the page went, and then it has these little, look like little sticky notes sticking out from the top. And then I went out and I found, I did a search on these Twitter birds looking for free, royalty-free Twitter birds, Twitter objects. And I found these and I just downloaded them and then I just stuck them in on the background. And then you just add your text objects, color them, and you've got a really nice background, for anything. I mean, you can add multiple elements to it. There's actually many elements to this. If you take a look at the layers, so you've got 3 birds, so that's each bird is on a different layer. If you were to do this in Photoshop, it'd just be flat ugly, I think. The Twitter text itself is 3 layers because I did three of those, copy and paste. The explosion is 2 layers. So what is that? You got the background canvas, that's 1 layer. The background image, that's layer 2, or I guess you count that layer 1. 3 birds, so that's 4 layers. 7 layers with the 3 on Twitter. 9 layers with the 2 on explosion. So that's a 9-layer graphic that we knocked out fairly easily. I don't understand the question, Jeff. What was the white box part of the background image? I put that in there for something else. So I'm not sure what was in there for. So I just took it out. You don't need it, obviously, with this image here. In fact, you could even change this probably over to a blue theme with white. Of course, change the fonts, and it would look just the same. It would look just as good. So very easy to do with RealDraw Pro and Artist here. You can make a professional-looking site very easily, and no one else is doing this right now. There's a lot of people doing Artist here, but no one else. I haven't seen any of these types of themes, and I'm not teaching it to anybody other than you guys. Okay, we've gone over our 2 hours. I don't want to get too long and involved with this stuff. So any other quick questions, and we can call it a day. I'll unkey you guys. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for attending, taking the time. If you're on Fast Track, we're going to not have Fast Track this week because there's Christmas. So everyone have a Merry Christmas. I'll see everyone back next week. Be safe out there and don't drink and drive. All right, guys.
Thanks.
See everyone next week.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye now.